What's up, guys? Y'all hear me? Can you guys hear me? What do you guys think of the new format? I got this idea from someone that emailed me last night. I think his name is Marty, and he gave me this idea to basically put this stuff up here so people can get notified. So if you want to get notified, get on my email list. And I figured out how to put some other stuff like this down here and this stuff up here. So I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with this software here, and you can do some pretty cool stuff, man. I even figured out how to I can play videos right here in like a window and stuff, you know, if I want to. So I can start getting a little bit more fun with the stream. Make it a little bit more interesting. You guys like that intro? Is that decent? It's a work in progress, but it's just something that I threw together last night. If you guys were watching last night, I did a couple test streams. I was like streaming with my lights off, basically. But I got this idea from this guy who emailed me last night. I'm telling you, I get a lot of my best ideas from just subscribers and stuff. And I just decided to go ahead and just make all that stuff last night before I went to bed. So I was up to like 1 in the morning just like making those little videos. And I think this chat box looks better too like this. It was a little bit too stretched out, but I think this looks a little bit better this way. But yeah, I was excited to see what the new intro would be like. So yeah, it is a little video gamey, huh? It's a free music track that I got from one of those royalty-free music websites. So yeah, so it's a little video gamey, but I figured it was pretty fitting. It's called like Vikings or something like that, so it's kind of fitting the theme a little bit, you know? The Viking stream. Eat some raw meat. But yeah, I just got a little bit of excuse me, the usual today. 3-week dry aged grass fed beef, and then 3 raw eggs. This is like a typical breakfast for me now. I never used to eat beef for breakfast, but I started doing it and my energy has been constant throughout the day. So recommend beef for breakfast, definitely. What's up, everybody? T. Moeller, Gregory, Chicken Jar, good to see you again. Snap, Crackle, Fizzle. What's up, Polar Blade, WT? What day is this? It is Tuesday morning. It's a rainy Tuesday morning, man, so we're probably not working today. I'm working on the farm these last couple weeks with my boss, and so I call him in the morning to kind of see what we're doing and stuff. And since it's raining, we haven't been working that much, so I'm just gonna call him at like 10:30 today. I'm pretty sure we got the day off. What's up, kitty cat? I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Trying to find a better spot for this. I don't like where this is at up here, this notification bell. I might move that. Maybe I'll move it over here. Yeah, I think it looks better over there. Bear with me here, guys. I'm doing a little construction. This is getting kind of fun, man. I didn't actually know you could do like half of this shit. But someone just gave me the idea last night on an email, and I started looking into the settings on this software, and it's like really easy to do this shit. I can put anything on this page. Any kind of picture, any kind of video. Wherever I want. It's pretty interesting, man. I could even get really fancy and start messing with like a green screen and stuff, but we'll see. Chicken Jar says, yeah, you don't want to play the copyrighted shit because the algorithms will get exactly. Especially for an intro song, it'll just ruin every single video. Do you ever eat ground beef? No, I don't really mess with ground beef anymore. I ate like, when I first started raw meat, I ate like 30 pounds one month of grass-fed beef. And I just got sick of it, man. It doesn't taste the best. What's up, Primal Diet Uploads? What's up? Eating raw meat with some cheese. Sounds good. Are those trimmings of dry aged meats? No, this is chuck roast. So it's I dry aged a primal cut chuck roast, a whole chunk, and then I just shaved this off of it. Yeah, I like these morning streams a little better because my energy is higher in the mornings than it is in the evenings. So my brain works a little bit quicker. I'm a little bit more sociable in the morning. I'm 100% a morning person, so I always like the breakfast streams. Raw meat will help me with depression. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't even know what depression is anymore, man. I'm not even sure what it is. For me, depression felt like just like my brain wasn't functioning at its optimal speed and its optimal level, and my body had something to do with it too, but it was mostly felt in my brain, you know. But now it's like I don't even know what that feels like. My brain is feels like it's running at proper speed. Excuse me. How many days do you eat? How many times a day? I'm on 2 bigger meals and it's working awesome. Yeah, I'm doing about two meals a day, Johnny. I feel that works best. I couldn't get everything I wanted to eat in every day in 1 meal a day because I like to eat like a variety of stuff. You know what I mean? I like to eat beef. I like to eat eggs. I like to eat brains and eyeballs and butter and, you know, a little bit of cheese here and there and some fruit. You got to eat like, honestly, I eat 3 times a day. What am I talking about? I eat 2 big meals, and then in the middle of my 2 meals, in like around lunchtime, I'll eat like 1 orange with like a big chunk of raw unsalted cheese. So I love to eat like a light lunch with like a fruit and some cheese in it. I might change this thumbs up picture. I don't like that picture. Let me see if I can change that real quick. A little bit better. That should work. There we go. That works. Depression usually equals lack of energy. Yeah, it's really that simple, man. And I mean, a lot of times, I think a lot of our issues can stem from like deep-rooted spiritual trauma. That's why I always emphasize getting through all of like your personal problems and anything that you have lingering from the past, because that's really going to hold you back more than anything. You know what I mean? That's like the big control dial that's behind everything in your body is your like spiritual stuff. So once you get that fixed up, and then you start fueling your body correctly, everything will get fixed up. Primal Core says, yeah, I feel the same. I feel my brain is slow. Yeah, that's a shitty feeling, isn't it? For sure. I feel like my brain could use just a little bit more speed up, potentially, but I'm starting to slowly just get back to where I think I should be. You know, it helps to socialize, do these live streams, and just use your brain in abstract ways. Chicken Jar says, I drink a veg juice in the morning, then I eat meat an hour after that. It sounds about right. I do enjoy doing that too. I actually ran out of veggies, so I gotta go re-up my veggie stash. Jason Bateman says, where do you get hard to find organs like brain, thymus, or adrenal glands? I get the brain from a local live butcher, and then thymus and adrenal from either Miller's Organic Farm, or you can find them online. Just you got to look around a little bit. Try North Star Bison for some bison adrenals. Kathy says, how do you get rid of candida? You just got to get on the proper diet and just let your body resolve itself. Don't worry about it too much. Just it's something. I can't remember what Aajonus says about it in his book, but you got to get the book We Want to Live and read about it. Or else, if you want to email me, I can send you the PDF. And basically, it explains how candida is just some kind of process your body's going through. I forget, fungus overgrowth or something. It's a detoxification. And once you get on the proper diet, your body will just resolve it. I had it really bad one time. I even had like thrush on my tongue, like white stuff on my tongue, and it just went away, honestly. And it wasn't even when I was on this diet. I wasn't even eating that healthily. I was eating semi good, but the body just kicked it out. But I've always been a guy that like stayed away from like too much sugar because I knew that sugar just wasn't good for you, you know. Kitty Cat says, what made you decide to start eating raw, and how long have you been doing it now? Excuse me. I got a dry throat for some reason. Let's see. I've been doing it for about 20 months or something like that. 21 months. And I started eating raw because I've always been like, I guess you could say like a perfectionist, and I've always wanted to like when I start to like research something, I always do like a really deep dive and get down to the truth of it all, right? And so I started doing a deep dive and researching like the carnivore thing, and I started noticing channels like Gottis's channel where he's eating raw meat, and I found it very intriguing. I'm not sure why, but I found it intriguing. And I saw some clips of Aajonus Wonder Planets on Gottis's channel, and it just rung true to me. Like it all just kind of made sense. And so I just tried it one day, and then it's not really what made me start eating raw. It's what kept me doing it, because the energy I got from it was like nothing I'd ever felt in my life. Like one of the first few times that I ever ate a raw steak, I actually like jumped up from the table after I ate it, and I was like, woohoo! Like I just exclaimed loudly. Like I had never had that kind of feeling after I ate a meal before. So it was like really primal. It gave me like this primal energy that I can't explain, and you'll never know until you eat raw meat. But yeah, I just instantly saw it as true and correct, and so I just kind of rolled with it. And usually once I recognize something as true, I never go back on it, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at today. T. Shepard says, I watched your high meat video and made some myself. My only issue is I keep getting a bunch of vinegar flies now in my house. Interesting. Make sure you keep the lid tight. Make sure you got a good tight lid on there. Black picture, how are you going to speed up your brain? By eating more brain. Eating raw brain. Hopefully detoxify my brain by eating raw brain. And then it'll remove the heavy metals and all that shit that's probably in there from like using cannabis and stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully my brain will be operating at a better speed. And once your brain starts to slowly operate at a better functioning level and a better speed, then you're able to like socialize better. You're able to abstract ideas better and express your words better. You're able to articulate yourself better, which in turn, I think, grows your brain even more, if you know what I'm trying to say. So the faster and the more your brain heals, the more exponentially it heals itself, because then you're able to learn quicker, then you're able to build your neurons faster and stuff. So I think the more healthy your brain is, the faster it builds neurons. Zach says, do you think it's a good idea to make high meat from a supermarket? I just got some New York steaks. You'll probably be alright, man. Just because it's from a supermarket doesn't mean it's like poison. They still have to go through the same USDA processing facilities that I get my grass-fed beef from. So they still spray like citric acid on it and shit. It sucks. Yeah, Miller Farms ships frozen, or they'll ship it to you fresh if you ask for it fresh. But usually they send it with like ice packs. P. Miller says 1 cup of cucumber plus orange juice, or plus orange juice twice a day has really helped my energy levels. Interesting. Sounds good, man. I love oranges, man. Oranges are like my favorite. Might change this font up here. This font's bugging me. Bear with me here, guys. Maybe it's the color. Is it the color? Maybe it is the color. Let's try that. Yeah, I think it was the color. Bear with me here, guys. Just doing some little modifications of the stream here. There we go. It's a little less annoying. I like that better. All right. Sorry, that red font was like distracting me. What's up, Bradley David? Good to see you, man. Manon says, are you business minded? Yes, I am. I'm very business minded. Yep. Ran a lot of my own businesses, and I've managed a lot of businesses, and I understand how they all work. Very good with money and numbers, and yeah. You could definitely say that, man. Johnny Hendershot says, the first time I had raw milk, I got that energy. Same with colostrum. Interesting. Yeah, raw. I remember the first time I started introducing raw milk into my life, it just changed everything, man. There's definitely nutrients in there that I was completely missing. Black picture. How do you find a live butcher to get a brain? Go to a search engine and type in live meat market or live butcher. Probably live meat market would be the term. And then just type in your city or your area, your state, and go from there, man. Excuse me. I don't know why, but I always have to clear my throat this time of the day in the morning. I suspect it has something to do with my dental work, because I have like a bridge and some crowns, and there's some adhesive in there. I swear it feels like something's going on during the night, like it's draining down my throat. But anyways, it's a little annoying. I can deal with it though. But the only problem I have today is my my bridges and my crowns, because it has like, there's like glues in there. You know what I mean? Kind of sucks, but yeah, you're blessed, man, to start the diet at 17. You're gonna avoid so many issues in life. Like, your brain is just gonna be functioning at like a way higher level than like mine ever did at that age. I was basically like retarded when I was like from 17 to like 25. Yeah, I've been getting, this is all fresh meat. Dark blue. It's not a bad idea. Let me see what dark blue looks like. I do like that dark blue color. Yeah, it does look better. Good call, man. Yeah, there you go. Maybe I should, let me see if I can make this dark blue, see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I'll change that to dark blue too. Good call, chicken jar. Nice. Yeah, that's it. That's a winner. Excuse me again. What's up, Yammy? Yeah, they ship it. They ship it frozen, but they'll ship it fresh if you ask for it. I don't really order beef fat anymore. Yeah, I just basically eat meat and organs. I get a lot of fat on my beef anyways, as it is, you know. So yeah, Miller's shipping can be a little bit up there, man. It kind of sucks, but the way that I look at the shipping like that, you know, usually my shipping is around like 55 to like 65, 70 bucks with the handling and stuff. The way that I look at that is that if you make an order like once a month or or once every 2 months, that's like a $75 ticket to buy the best food you could possibly eat in the world. It's not really that much if you think about it. If you compare it to other shipping costs of other things you buy, it looks super extravagant. But if you just look at it like it's a one-time fee to eat the best food in the world, it's not terrible if you look at it that way. Would you recommend the soy-free eggs from Miller's? Miller's has got some good eggs, man. But I would recommend finding like a local farmer if you could, to get some soy-free stuff. So Southern California is probably why. Yeah, it's not terrible, man. Because like they're shipping from here, from Pennsylvania to Nebraska, and my shipping is like 55, 60 bucks, 65. So you're only like 10, 15 bucks more, man. Yeah, raw milk makes me fatter too. I lost a lot of weight around my waist and my thighs. I actually feel better. I feel pretty good off of raw milk. I still eat butter and cheese and stuff like that, but I'm taking like a big break from milk as a little experiment, and we'll see. Where's Miller's Farm located? It's in Pennsylvania. Raw meat and milk saved my life. I feel you, man. P. Miller says, if I didn't get that one Sverria video recommended to me in November 18, I would probably still be eating chips and smoking weed all day. Yeah, we found it about the right time, about the same time. I found it in August 2018. I feel you, man. Eating chips and eating Dairy Queen, smoking weed all day. I feel you, man. Just medicating that diseased body. It's a little bold too. I might change this text one more time. Let's see what Old Times a New Roman has to say up here on this. Change this real quick. Nah. I like Impact better. There we go. I'm just gonna move it over up the edge. Whoops. There we go. Sorry guys, just doing a little editing here. Just a little touch up. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I'm just moving this stuff around here. I think that looks a little better. Alright. What's this shipping place you're talking about? It's called Miller's Organic Farm. Check it out. Rebecca says some same spirit completely convinced me and I started eating some raw at 18. That's cool, man. Yeah. He did a good job of getting the word out about raw meat. OG Reinhard, have you heard of people getting lingering headaches and chronic fatigue from raw milk? Yes, I have. I feel like it makes me sleep like a rock 9-11 hours per night. Yeah. I actually I found that I slept like 2 hours less per night as soon as I quit eating raw milk. So I'm a little bit suspicious of raw milk right now, just as far as cow's milk goes, A1 cow's milk. That's what I was drinking. And I kind of go back and forth on this a lot. Like I'll drink A1 cow's milk, but then I'll go back to drinking Jersey milk, Guernsey milk, goat milk. I'm not really sure what's going on there. You know what I mean? It might be the A1, A2 thing. It might be just because it's from a cow. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. I haven't done a proper experiment. It's really hard for me to do an experiment with milk because it doesn't like... It's very subtle, you know what I mean? It's not like I drink it and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna die, or I'm like, you know, like crapping my pants for 4 hours straight. It doesn't do that to me. It just, raw milk, I think maybe I'm over drinking it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it puts like an unnatural amount of weight on my stomach and my thighs. almost like a woman. It's really weird, and I'm wondering if it's because of the hormones in it, you know? But I feel great off of raw milk, man, and I think that I almost feel better off of it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just over the raw milk phase because Aajonus says you want to like fatten up like a baby when you first get on this diet, and you want to get as fat as you can and then detox everything out of your body. So I've put on a lot of weight multiple times on this diet over the last 2 years, and I've shed it off, put it on, shed it off. I think I'm getting to the point to where I can eat just kind of a couple small meals per day, not have to worry about chugging so much milk and stuff like that. And I think I'll be fine. But who knows? What my plan is to go off of milk for a while and then go back to goat's milk, but I'm going to order it from Miller's Farm with my cheese and my butter orders, and I'm just going to order like 2 weeks of milk at a time from Miller's, and then just drink it. And I might even experiment with freezing milk. I've heard a lot of people have had success with freezing milk, and I think it would be potentially beneficial to drink frozen milk over drinking no milk at all, especially if you have no access to good goat milk like I am. So anyways, I don't know if that made any sense, but that's my plan. I'm going to go off milk for like a month and then integrate goat's milk back in, go from there. Love these morning streams. Nice. Glad you enjoy it. Yeah. Morning streams are my favorite. It sucks when you work because you can't really do it, but it's been really rainy, so I got a couple days off. What's up, Samuel Adams? Yeah, I remember the first time I ever heard about eating anything raw was when I was 6 years old. And my brother started drinking raw eggs because he thought he was Rocky. I'll never forget that. We cracked a raw egg in a cup, and my older brother, I wonder if he remembers that. He was the first person I ever saw eating raw food. I think that was the last egg he ever ate raw too, but I think everybody tried that after they watched Rocky. They started drinking raw eggs. Samuel Adams, thoughts on maple syrup? The real thing, not the cheap fake crap. Sounds good. I used to love maple syrup. I'm not sure what it's made out of. Is it like brown sugar? Not 100% sure if that's good for you, but I haven't looked too into syrup or anything like that. Johnny says, that's so weird that you say that because for about a week I haven't had any raw milk and I feel better. I'm telling you, man, you got to experiment with this diet. You got to go on and off stuff, see how you feel. Good Mackie says, A1, don't you mean A2? Zach Fuller says, you should try A2, A2. Yeah, I've had both, guys. I've done a lot of experiments. I drank actually only Guernsey milk, which is A2, A2, for months and months and months. And then it was like an hour drive, so I had to quit drinking that stuff because it was 2 hours round trip to buy it. I was just sick of driving, man. It was unrealistic. So I went back to A1. Here I am, about 3-4 months later, drinking A1, and I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. So it could be the A2 thing. It could be the cow thing as well. It could be because I need goat's milk, because goat's milk actually has adrenaline precursors. And Aajonus said that if you're a lower energy person, you need goat milk. If you're a high energy person, drink cow's milk. Well, I'm not a high energy person. I've always been a real low energy person. So I think I need goat's milk. So it could be a combination of I need goat's milk and I need the A2 casein. There's a lot of confounding variables and that's why people get really confused on this shit. You know what I mean? And it's hard for people to do like proper experiments and stuff like that. Like I don't have the I don't really have the time to do like an A1 A2 experiment and like drive 2 hours, go buy some A2 milk, and then order some goat's milk, and then make sure it all stays fresh. And it's too much of a pain in the ass. So I'm just gonna kind of go with my instincts, and I'm gonna go with what the majority. I've basically surveyed the internet over the last 2 years, and I've asked everybody about A1 A2, about goat's milk and cow's milk. And almost universally, everyone feels better on goat's milk and goat's cheese. So I think I'm just going to stick with that. Yeah, Miller's Organic Farm. It's an Amish farm. Organ meats from Miller's worth it. I don't like a lot of meat shipped to me. The plastic makes it taste weird. I've never eaten their organ meats, so I can't answer that one. If you never eat organs, it's probably worth it. Danny says it's important to eat thyroid glands if you go low carb. Sounds about right. Hell yeah, man. Rocky style eggs. It's where it's at. How much meat are you eating per day, Kitschy? How much beef and how many eggs are you eating per day? You shouldn't have any problem putting on weight if you're eating beef, eggs, and dairy every day. Green Giant, how many eggs do you eat a day? Right now I'm just eating like 4 or 5. I was eating like 7 at one point. Sorry, I gotta text my boss here. I knew that was him texting me. Alright. Can't ignore the boss, man. I actually like this farm work, man. Cause like when you get like a rain day like this, you get the whole frickin' day off. It's awesome. It's the best. And then tomorrow I get to go back to work and just like go messing around on a 500-acre farm, just out in the middle of nowhere, man. Like there's no pollution, there's no like businesses, there's like hardly any cars, and all you hear is just birds chirping like crazy, man. You never know how crazy loud birds get until you get way out in the country, and it's just the birds, they run the show out there, man. Like there's so many of them. Do I think 1 tablespoon a day of honey is too much? No way, man. No, I used to eat at least 2 to 3 every day. I still do kind of eat that much if I do the nut formula. There's no way to do proper experiments. We have to go by experience. Yeah, proper food experiments, guys, that's a good point. It's almost impossible to do because there's too many confounding variables. You know what I mean? It's like there's too many things that can interact with the experiment, and there's too many possibilities of different things that are in the milk. You know what I mean? Like each milk could have a different set of hormones in it. It's just the nutrient profile of the grass that goes into the cow's mouth that creates the milk is completely different from animal to animal. There's too many freaking variables, man. So you can't really do experiments on this stuff. It's just, you gotta like just eat it and just go from there. That's your experiment. Like your body is like the laboratory. You just dump the food in your laboratory and just wait to see what comes out. Do they have fruit year-round in the Midwest? Honestly, I don't know about local stuff because the local farm that I have around here doesn't do everything organic, so I don't mess around with them. But we have it available definitely year-round, for the most part. Like it'll change from like species of fruit. You know, there's different varieties. Like I can't find like papayas right now at all. You dreamt of raw goat cheese. Maybe you should eat some, man. Excuse me. Let's see. I had some crazy dreams last night too. Again, every single time I eat brains, I have these insane dreams. It's like I'm waiting for them to go away or stop, but it doesn't happen. Every single night. Yami says I had a pool party yesterday. My 2 vegan friends came over. It was weird because I explained my issue with fixing gut flora, and they completely knew and understood that, but eat vegan. I don't know, man. I don't know about those guys. There's, excuse me. I have to clear my throat like that every single morning. I'm either detoxing all of the weed I smoked in my life out of my lungs now, which is very possible because I did smoke a lot of weed, or I'm detoxing welding gas from when I was working in the shop a few months back, or it's like a glue draining off of my dental work, which is probably the most logical. It's kind of annoying though. I apologize. Rocky style is putting them in a glass. I prefer Aajonus style. So do I, man. Acknowledge says I've had numerous dreams of myself finding raw butter and raw cheese and I didn't have access to it. That's funny. Tell your boss I said hi. I will. I'll let him know tomorrow. Say Black Picture says what's up. Yeah, I agree, man. When you suck the egg, it tastes better. Did you get a new job? No, I didn't get a new job. I actually I decided that I wanted to do something different within the same company, and they were trying to get me in the office anyways. So honestly, to be quite honest, I was having some issues with the guy I was working with, and it just wasn't working out. And so I talked to the boss and the boss's son and everything, and they were willing to put me in the office. But right now, we're doing construction on the office, and sorry guys, my throat is driving me crazy. So they're doing construction on the office. They don't quite have like an office ready for me yet. So I'm working on my boss's farm, he owns like a 500-acre farm. He owns 2 farms up north, up in Iowa, in this like beautiful part of Iowa, man, in the Les Hills. It's one of the prettiest parts of the whole country, man. And so we're planting like a huge garden. We're planting a bunch of fruits and a few vegetables, some peppers and stuff like that. And we're taking down some he had like a big hog pen set up. We're taking down some like huge cages, and we're kind of just doing a bunch of random farm work and stuff. It's really fun, man. But one day we went out with 4-wheelers, and he took me across the whole property in these 4-wheelers, and it was just like, it was awesome, man. I'm trying to get him to let me stay in that farmhouse out there, because he's got this farmhouse on the property and no one's living there. And he's talking about getting this farm going, because I think that we're talking about getting some goats and raising goats and then selling goats, to people that want goat meat and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'm your guy, man. Like, I can do all that stuff. That's exactly what I'm looking to do. I'm willing to move an hour away on a farm to do this stuff. And he just said, he was like, you might be moving up here faster than you think, man. So who knows? I'm praying that it works out. We'll see how it works, but I might be living on like a 500-acre farm by myself pretty soon here. Hopefully, we'll see how it works. Black Picture says you play piano, play a song for us. This is actually hooked up to some software. It's not like a standalone piano, so I'd have to get a bunch of software going, but I did actually produce a bunch of music a few years back, and it's on my recommended channels tab. It's under the name Pixelis. That was the project name that I used, and that's a bunch of music that I produced using my keyboards. But I'm not a classically trained pianist or anything like that, but I can mess around, do some melodies and harmonize, and I can do some things. But my real passion is in like arranging and producing like basically like electronic music tracks and stuff like that. Wes, did you know that Mexican chefs eat a lot of raw dishes very often, like tuna tartare, ceviche, beef tongue, scallops? I believe it, man. I got this Mexican guy I work with to eat raw brains. Of all things, I got him to eat goat brains. He like, yeah, he and it's funny because he actually does like sushi shows, private sushi parties, and he said that he was raised on raw milk. And I worked with two Mexican guys, and I noticed it was very interesting. This is after I read the Weston Price book. I noticed, and I was just studying like the jaw structure and the neck structure of people and how it degenerates over years. These Mexican guys have wide jaws, man. If you notice Mexicans, man, they got wider jaws than us. And maybe part of that's just genetic, but I think a lot of it's degeneration too, because those guys, they told me that they had like a goat milk like delivered to their doorstep every morning. So it's like their bones developed properly. Yeah, eat as much honey as you want, guys. I mean, honestly, if you crave it, eat it. I think Aajonus said he drank like a quart one day. Samuel Adams says maple syrup comes from boiling the sap of the maple tree. Ancient tradition here in Northeast. The Indians were here were making it before the Pilgrims arrived. Wonder if Aajonus ever talked about it. Interesting, man. I mean, it sounds like it's probably not too bad. It's a very natural substance. You're putting a little bit of heat to it. You know, you're probably not creating too many like toxic byproducts. I would say just go with your instincts. If you like it, you know, stick with it. You don't have to completely abandon all your traditions just because some scientist did a study and found that, you know, when you heat foods, it creates like certain toxic byproducts. Like, you know, I respect all Aajonus's work, but I mean, let's be honest, he was like way far into the weeds on some of this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's a point where you can just like, if you follow his thing to a T, it's like you're not gonna ever be able to like socialize with other human beings ever again, and like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta, there's a certain point when you gotta just like maybe eat some cooked food every once in a while if there's like a family gathering, you know, stuff like that. But it doesn't negate his research, you know what I mean? But like I said, just go with what is, you should normally go with what is like the healthiest for you, but also what makes you feel best is not a bad idea either, you know what I mean? Because life isn't just about being like the healthiest man on the planet. It's also just about feeling good, you know? And that's why Aajonus recommended some of his older people eat like cooked meals every once in a while, because they were detoxing so hard, he wanted them to feel good, you know? So the cooked meal would stop the detox. That's too hard. I'm gonna give that one to my dog. Some of this dry aged meat is a little too tough for me. Like the outer crust of it. I can eat most of it though. Aajonus way is too hard. Aajonus way takes a lot of discipline, man. But I'll be honest with you, man. Doing it the Aajonus way is not as hard as doing it the carnivore way. The carnivore way is ridiculous, man. No fruit? Like, get out of here, man. No pickles? No sauerkraut? Get out of here. Oh, you're talking about eggs. Well, either way. I found the Rocky way of eggs, it doesn't taste as good for some reason. Pedro, hey man, I still prefer cow's milk and goat sheep raw cheeses, and it is the staple in Europe. Feel fine. Do you think salt is that toxic? Like Aajonus said, Himalayan is bad, but sea salt is bad. Yeah, it doesn't make logical sense that we would eat salt rocks, but think there's certain exceptions to where you need an extra salt in your diet, like you said with adrenal insufficiencies. And I think there's a lot more people with adrenal insufficiencies that we care to admit. So there's probably a lot more people that actually need some extra salt in their diet that don't realize it, you know? I experiment with it back and forth. To be honest with you, I'll probably never be 100% salt free just because I'm so on the fence about it. Excuse me. I do believe it is like an explosive, like Aajonus said. I believe everything he said about it. But yeah, try to get your sodium from foods, from milk, from eggs, from seafoods. Problem is I don't have good access to seafoods out here, so I feel like I could always use a little bit extra sodium. But I get it through my mineral water as well. And to be honest, I don't really know what to say about it at this point. I just sometimes get cramps in my legs, cramps in my feet. I'll put a little salt on my meat, they go away for months. But every few months or so, I'll get those cramps that come back. So just kind of go with what your body feels like. If you start getting leg and feet cramps, add a little bit of salt. If you feel like your adrenals are messed up, maybe a little bit of salt would help you out. If you're not eating much seafood at all, maybe some added salt, you know. Black picture, cow dairy makes me feel low energy, goat milk makes me explode. I now know why. Interesting. You're not the first person that's told me that, and I can't wait to experiment with it, because I feel like that's what I need. I need like that energy, man. Good morning, Isa. Yeah, honey with milk is great. I was doing that at the end there quite a bit. Liver and goat's milk give me the best energy. That sounds like a good smoothie. You cannot trust a vegan. There's probably some truth to that. Every dairy product is not primal, only raw meat, organs, and fat is. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Even mare and donkey milk are great. It sounds good. I bet a dog that eats raw meat has good milk. I never thought about drinking dog milk. It's pretty funny. Egg isn't primal? What are you talking about? What's up, doggy style? Why do you think NASA tried to fake the moon landing? Probably for notoriety, if they did fake it. I'm not sure if they did, though. I'm on the fence about that. Black picture, cooked meat isn't bad. You can cook here and there. Yeah, I don't think it's really as bad as you think it is. You may produce some heterocyclic amines or whatever, but just don't like dump a bunch of barbecue sauce on it and then cook it to a crisp so there's like a 2-inch crust on the outside. Like, don't do that. But like a slow roast, like slow roasted ribs, come on, man. How can you deny that stuff? That doesn't change the fact heating food damages it. It does damage it, you know? But you know what also damages food? Having shitty soil, you know what I mean? Like, if you live on the East Coast, your soil is like way shittier than the soil I have in the Midwest here. Weston Price proved that in his book. And there's actually a higher incidence of disease on the East Coast than there is in the Midwest just because of that. It's all correlated with soil, right? So, you know, it's like if you're on the East Coast and you're eating raw food with made from shitty soil, right? That's probably the same as eating a little bit of cooked food with extremely good soil. I mean, it's, you know, you're getting like different kinds of nutrients when you have better soils. And so you just got to look at, there's like so many different variables of what creates like a healthy food and a dangerous food, you know what I mean? And like, to be honest, like having bad soil could be potentially worse than actually cooking the food if you think about it. So what should you focus on more? Should you focus on eating your food raw, or should you focus on moving to a part of the country that has healthy soil, right? There's just, you know, there's just so many different things to think about on this diet, and it's not just all about raw and cooked. You know, like I said, there's soil, there's the health of the animal, stuff like that. But soil is major, guys. Major, major. My friend calls it Aajonus Prime. I love that. Aajonus Prime. Someone should make that YouTube account right now before someone else does. Aajonus Prime. I was bored on carnivore. I was kind of too, man. Yeah. Carnivore was, it was a bit dulling. And it's almost like, carnivore diet's almost like an ego trip. You know what I mean? It's like, look at me, I'm just... Guess who I'm imitating right now? I'm just grilling another ribeye. Grilling some ribeyes and lifting some weights. You know? Like, hey, that's cool if you like to eat 5 steaks a day and lift weights, but not everybody has $75 to blow on ribeyes every day and 4 hours to lift weights every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all ego, man. Don't believe those guys at all. That's not like a natural lifestyle. Grilling 5 ribeyes a day, not natural, man. So, and you're missing out on so many beautiful varieties of foods that are on this earth. Like, those guys don't even eat honey. They don't even eat fruit. No dairy, no cheese, no butter. Like, get out of here, man. Jar, how do you incorporate honey into your diet? When I was drinking milk, I would drink a lot of milk and honey. But right now, I'm getting my honey in with my nut formula. There's nothing easier than raw carnivore. It's the simplest way to eat food, man. You don't have to cook anything. Good stuff. Have you gotten any headaches after introducing salt back? No. I don't use too much. I just use little sprinkles here and there. Rebecca says, not just adrenal issues, but all sorts of health issues are so prevalent. It's crazy. Almost all the girls in high school are put on the pill for acne, cramps. It's like maybe an underlying issue. Oh, it's hormonal for sure. It's definitely hormonal. And look how many people are like, look how many people are like turning like transgender, and like how many people are like, how many guys are going gay, and how many women are like, you know, turning lesbian and stuff like that. Like, that's all like hormonal shit. You know what I mean? A lot of it is. You know, I think it's fundamentally spiritually driven, but it doesn't help that our hormones are all freaking messed up, and everybody's like over sexualized. You know, because, and it's making everybody like have sex with everybody. If you really see the pattern, it's amazing, man. Because Aajonus taught that once you get on the proper diet, like the diet, you know, that I'm on right now, it actually tempered my sex drive. It didn't make me like this like oversexed like barbarian caveman. It actually tempered it, you know. So it's very interesting. Once you get on the proper diet and you get your hormones all situated and fixed out, you're not really interested in like sex all day long like you used to be, unless you're around like, if you're a male, unless you're around like an ovulating female, just like it would be in nature. Like animals typically aren't into that stuff unless they're around another animal that's ovulating. You know what I'm saying? So it's not normal to be thinking about sex all the time. It's not normal to be having sex all the time. And once you get on the proper diet, you'll see what I'm talking about. My dogs are even great examples. They're on the proper diet. They've been on the raw meat diet for like 2 years, and my dog has never humped anybody's leg ever since I've known him, like ever since I've had him. And everybody knows dogs that like hump people's legs, like it happens all the time. That's weird. That's something in their food. That's some kind of chemical in their food that's making them do that. So anyways, I know I went off on a tangent, but yeah, that's what causes like acne, cramps, and stuff like that in people. It's all detoxification coming out through your skin and coming out through your organs and stuff like that. And like for me, what caused the acne was pasteurized dairy, no doubt. Thank you, Siege Style. Very nice of you to say. Samuel Adams, I was in Scotland a few months ago. The place is covered with sheep all over the countryside, but when I went around looking for sheep's milk, people looked at me like I was crazy. Really? Interesting. What's that all about? So they don't really do much milk over there. Thanks for the sub, Tommy Nielsen. Black picture. NASA faked the moon landing to hide flat Earth because flat Earth proves God. NASA wants to hide God. Maybe. There's a lot of interesting theories about that, man. I'm not saying it did or didn't happen. I haven't seen enough evidence either way. I'd have to see it with my own eyes, you know what I mean? You'd have to like take me up there. Interesting. Anyone try honey from a native bee? The most common are African European bees. I did not know that. I'll evolve into Aajonus Prime. Yami says, is it normal for me to sit there and eat a ton of raw butter like a meal in a way? I must be craving fat like crazy to sit there and enjoy it. Yeah, you're fine. You know, as long as your stools are okay. A lot of times that extra fat can mess up your stools and stuff. But yeah, I used to eat tons of butter too. Like I've cut down on it big time. I've cut down on my dairy big time. I think there was something in there, some kind of nutrient my body was missing, and I just cut it out basically. And I eat a little bit of butter sometimes with my meals, and I eat some cheese for lunch, and that's it. That's all I eat for now. Interesting. Clay is the key to cooking. That's interesting. Huh. Cooking meat using clay pots retains all water-soluble vitamins. Really? Drop your panties. I love your streams. Lately, the more raw meat I eat, the less I seem to like cooked meat. Been eating raw tongue this past week. I live on a farm, so I get fresh raw milk on the daily. You're lucky, man. Yeah, it's interesting. You start to get an aversion for cooked food when you eat this stuff. Nice Sean impression. You forgot the raspy frog voice. Yeah, I know. I'd have to work on that. Alright, guys. Sorry, buddy. Alright, guys. Just eat another ribeye. And here's a video of me working out again. And grilling some more ribeyes. Yeah, I can't do it. My voice isn't fucking fried out from eating cooked steaks all day. I'm just giving you shit, Sean. I know you watch my streams every day. I'm just giving you shit, buddy. Gotta tease the alpha male, you know? He's an alpha. I like the guy. Corn baker. It's funny. Yeah, there's less dogma with raw primal for sure. Yeah, and I do enjoy every once in a while. I do enjoy like a potato. You know what I mean? And it's really refreshing to know if you do integrate potatoes again, like I have been doing. You don't crave them like every day, all day anymore. It's not like once you eat a potato, you're just going to become a freaking potato head. I ate potatoes for like 3 days, and then I went like 3 days without eating them, you know? I hadn't had a potato in like 2 years. It's just, my body craves what it wants now. Wow, thanks for the super chat, Pedro. That's very generous of you. I'll read that in just a sec here. Do human nails have no evolution purpose? I think they do. I think if you've ever worked with your hands, nails can have like a really functional purpose, you know? uh, doing construction or just working on cars. Like nails do have a function for sure, but they also protect the tips of your fingers from getting chopped off. Baker wants you to buy his special grill. Exactly, dude. You guys will know that I'm a total compromised shill when I start trying to sell you grills. Corn steaks and weights, good old American corn raised double A beef. It's actually some good beef. Mr. Baker's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but being nice is not something that it's not a trait that you want to have as a man. Because being nice means that you're afraid to tell people the truth. So you can be kind, you know. Being a kind person is different than being nice. It's not really a compliment to call a guy a nice guy, if you really think about it. Half of the conversation in Goda's chat is this natural? Yeah. Aajonus Prime. You did it, man. Congrats. That's hilarious, dude. Aajonus Prime. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. That made me laugh pretty hard. It just pops out of nowhere. Hi. Who's watching Jeffrey Epstein documentary is going to be on today? Really? Stools are fine. Only time is it's not is when I drink too much raw cow milk with butter. Interesting. Grilled some ribeyes and reading stories on people eating meat, then laughing at vegans for 20 seconds. You know, if you guys notice, the general pattern of YouTube is that YouTubers start out like really humble and like informative and helpful, and then they get compromised and their ego starts to take over, right? And then it becomes all about money and ego and pride and stuff like that. You guys notice this is like a pattern that happens with a lot of YouTubers, and it's just like the YouTube algorithm like creates these things from people. You know what I mean? And I liked Sean better when he was like, you know, didn't have his medical license, and he was like just starting the carnivore channel, and he was like getting attacked all the time. He was like really humble. You know what I mean? And he was like full of information and just a humble guy. And, you know, it's not that I want to see a guy get kicked or beat down or anything like that, but it's just like, no one wants to watch you work out, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I made like one workout video on my backup channel, and I was like, this is the douchiest thing I think I've ever done in my life, filming myself lifting weights. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to watch you work out and lift weights. So, anybody that's doing that, like taping themselves, like pumping iron and stuff, like, they're just too into themselves, and they're not really they're not in it for the truth. You know what I mean? Plus, anybody that just eats only steaks and cooks all their food all day long, I don't get it, man. Issa says, have you heard of John Rose? No, I have not. Do you ever cheat, Wes, like ice cream or snacks? No, I do eat raw primal ice cream every once in a while, but no, everything is raw. One time I ate a meatball sub sandwich at work. It was pretty good. It was like regular bread and everything, but that's about it. How you make primal ice cream? Check my channel out, man. There's a video on it. Nice guys finish last. Exactly, dude. Yeah. If anybody tells you you're a nice guy, they're not giving you a compliment. Trust me on that one. That's different than being compassionate or kind. You can be a compassionate man, you can be a kind man, but you don't want to be a nice man, you know? There's a difference. Good Mackie says if you look up nice in an old dictionary, it says stupid or acquiescent. Yeah, sounds about right. It wasn't a good thing to call anybody back then. Why is the Jeffrey Epstein story so popular? Well, it's just disturbing. People love disturbing shit, you know? Do you have an opinion on Stefan Molyneux? No, I don't really have an opinion on him either way. I couldn't get into him. Good Maki, you see around 30,000 subs, many YouTubers' ego goes out of control because that's the point where they become partnered. Exactly. Is 30,000 subs like a turning point for YouTube business or something? I wasn't aware of that. Because I know they monetize you at like 1,000 or something, but I didn't know 30,000 was like you actually become like a partner. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've noticed that, man. It messes people up. It's like fame. It's the same thing that fame does to people in Hollywood and movies and stuff. There's no way I could ever see myself going down that route, guys. There's no way. Cause like I'm already like 99% raw, right? So like, what am I gonna sell? The only thing I'll ever potentially consider selling is health consultations, which I give out for free now through my emails. So if you want to talk about health, hit me up on email because I'm doing them for free. But eventually, once I like run out of time and I'm not gonna have time to just do it all for free, I'm gonna have to start monetizing that. And so once I feel comfortable enough with what I've learned over the last 2-3 years, maybe I'll go another year or something, I'll feel comfortable helping other people and charging them money for it. Because let's just face it, man, like I can't spend like all my days off just emailing people for nothing, you know? So that's about the only thing I could see myself monetizing is that, and then maybe writing like a book or something. I don't know. I'm a creative person, and you never know what's gonna pop up in my head and what's gonna come out. But one thing's for sure is that I'm awake to all of like the red pills out there, and I'm awake to all of the scams in the world, and you'll never see me taking part in any kind of scam. You know what I'm saying? So, and the only reason I continued to monetize my channel is because I did a survey. I polled my audience and I asked them, should I monetize my channel or should I not? Because I don't like them running ads on my channel, because I don't want their ads to get in the way of the message that I'm trying to convey. And the majority of my audience told me, take the money. So I'm taking the money and I'm using it, and it does help. It does keep me motivated to keep the channel going and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie, But, that's just kind of where I sit with the whole making money on YouTube type thing, What's up, Corey Hall? Yeah, doing a little morning stream. I got the day off. It's been kind of rainy out, so I figured I'd bust a stream out. And I might start doing some more morning streams here and there, because I do eat actually breakfast now, like raw beef for breakfast. I was kind of skipping breakfast here and there. But it seems like this is like a good time in the morning to hit everybody, about 10:40 Central. No Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. I'm not sure what that means. WT says awake on West Coast at 5 a.m. Nice. Gusto, yo Wes, have you heard the nuclear weapon myth? Nukes don't exist. Yes, I have. And I would tend to agree with that as well. Crowell says, you turned me on to Jesse Lee Peterson. Aside from politics, his overall message is amazing. He's great, dude. Yeah, you can not agree with his political stuff. You can, if you want to get into his more spiritual messages, they're profound, man. Definitely amazing, for sure. Footage of nukes have been fabricated, and Japan was firebombed, not nuked. Yeah, it makes sense, man. Albert Einstein was a fraud. Make sure you get all that yolk out of there. Don't leave any in there. You gotta suck it hard. Ethernosis says, amazing. He did an interview with Treeologic. Press it at the Treehouse. I meant to watch it last night. Oh, is that a recent one? I gotta check that out. Doggy Style, do you have any thoughts of Bobby and why are some of the Carney guys are Christian shills? I don't think they... It's interesting because I know Bobby's done some pretty serious like mushroom doses, you know what I mean? I guess they haven't woken up to the fact that religion's a scam. You know what I'm saying? Either that, or they don't have the courage to explore the idea that all religion is a scam. It's all a man-made scam. Maybe they don't have the courage to look into Gnosticism, you know, or anything like that. But I don't judge them for it. But I do find it interesting. And it doesn't mean that they don't have some sort of connection with God, you know, just because they're following a man-made religion. But I don't think it's the way that God intended it or the way that even Jesus intended for us to have a relationship with God. So, and I think a lot of times when people are promoting Christianity, they are virtue signaling. So they're trying to basically make them seem like they are more virtuous than you or the next man because, you know, I'm a Christian, blah, 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 blah. Like, come on, let's just be honest. That's kind of really what's going on here is that a lot of these Christians are just kind of bragging a little bit, you know, like I got this connection with God and, you know, I'm good to go, blah, blah. What I know about God, man, is like I have a pretty close relationship with God. And what I know about God is that you're not supposed to go around and talk about him all the time. I don't like talking about God, you know, so I try to just keep my mouth shut about it. My relationship with God is very private. It's good. I have a good connection. But we're not supposed to proselytize, guys. We're not supposed to go knock on people's doors. You're not supposed to shame other people from different religions. You're not supposed to brag about your religion. You're just supposed to have a private relationship with your Creator and keep it to yourself. Gregory says, I don't believe you're supposed to be in ketosis 24/7. I agree. Seems a little bit extreme. Kenyon says, would you recommend a milk eggs only diet for a while? Recently I've been absolutely tired of meat. Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely. Aajonus recommended 2 days a week to quit meat. So, yeah, just drink some smoothies, milk and eggs, 2 days a week. You'll be fine, man. Black Picture says, buddy, you're talking to a Christian, LMAO. Oh, I'm sure I talk to a lot of Christians, for sure. And, like, I don't, you know, whatever. I don't really care. Hope you guys don't find what I'm saying is offensive. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But it may be very possible that I have seen further into the truth than a lot of people. And I'm telling you, when you read the books that I've read, when you've had the experiences I've had with God, and you just kind of see the whole broad picture of what's going on, it's kind of all a scam, dude. Look into Gnosticism. Read the book The Kingdom of God is Within You by Tolstoy. And just look into all the corruption and stuff that religion brings and how it divides people. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Read the Gospel of the Red Man, the Indian Bible. And you'll see what I'm talking about. The Native Americans actually had what I see is closer to the truth of what a relationship with God is than any religion I've ever seen in my life. and they were non-religious, and they were quiet about it. They didn't proselytize. They didn't push it on people. It's very, very interesting. And they knew nothing about Jesus, and they had beautiful relationships with God. So, you know, you just gotta look into all the different things, all the different cultures in the world, put the whole picture together. Don't just focus on one area, you know. Good Maki, hey, are you not sucking out the membrane? I try to suck it as much as I can, but it kind of gets stuck in there. Krause says, I don't have any issues with his politics. I just try to avoid it nowadays. Me too. Good Maki, I don't see you doing the Aajonus thing where he dents one end and sucks the egg out of the other with the membrane. I do actually. I dented on my counter here. So there's a dent right there. I get all the yolk out. And you can see the membrane right there. It's kind of washed out, sorry. You can see the membrane right there in there. So it's all out of there. Rebecca says, you said you're business minded. In your opinion, do you think it would be a really bad idea to start a small business now? Nothing crazy, just to try to make a little extra money. It depends on what you're doing. I mean, it's not the best. It depends on what you're doing, right? If you're doing like a delivery service, that would be genius. You know what I mean? Because everybody's staying home and staying indoors. I've thought about that, you know, starting like a small delivery service. You could sell face masks. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you could like capitalize on what's going on right now, you know? It really just depends on what you're talking about. If you're trying to start like a restaurant, like not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? So there's extremes there. You don't want to go all the way over here. Getting more into probably doing something like providing food for people, like farming. Like maybe you could start, you know, something like that Joel Salatin guy was talking about, this lady that made a business just building gardens in people's backyards. So she built a garden in someone's yard, planted a bunch of vegetables in it. And then the neighbor said, hey, will you build a garden in my yard? And she was like, sure. So she built a garden in their yard. Now she's got a whole business riding a bicycle around town, building gardens in people's yards. That would be genius right now, because people are really interested in like food, getting local food, and there's like a food supply issue. So you just gotta come up with a good business idea that's gonna penetrate any like market vulnerabilities that are going on right now. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do like a stock market trading business. You know what I mean? Like just certain things you don't want to touch right now. But I would say getting back to basics, getting back to essential business needs, what people actually want. Ether says, the dog feeding video was great. I still cook my pup's meat rare. She doesn't love eggs that much. And she will let her meat sit out for a day and get old for snacking, ribeye and chuck. Oh yeah. I give my dogs goat faces and goat skulls, and they let it sit in the yard and putrefy for about a week until it gets maggots all over it and rots, and then they eat it. Butcher Box is definitely not grass-fed. Yeah, I know, dude. Come on. Why would you promote, you know what I mean? Like, I promote getting your food from a local farmer. You know what I mean? Go to eatwild.com, go to realmilk.com, you know? Get your food from a local farmer. Speaking of that, let's go there right now. If you can, don't order your freaking meat online. That's the stupidest thing ever. But certain things I understand you gotta get. But yeah, go to eatwild.com. Shop for meat, eggs, and dairy. Find your state. This is where I'm at. Look at this. It's just got every farm in my state. This is where I found all my farmers, man. It's got all their addresses, their emails, their phone numbers. Just start calling farmers, guys. This is how you find food. Go to Iowa. Boom. Pages and pages and pages of turkey, beef, bison. Let's go to here, New Mexico. Look at that. Not as many, but there's some farms down there. North Dakota. Not as many, but there's some farms. Tons of farms in the Northwest. That's how you find your food, man. You don't go to Butcher Box. Good Maki says, don't talk about God, live it. Exactly, man. Anytime you start talking about God, it completely fails the whole concept. And it annoys people. And there's a reason why it annoys people, guys. It's because we're not supposed to sit here and blab about God. You know what I mean? That's one thing this channel will never turn into, is me blabbing about God. Now, I wouldn't mind, like, you know, I don't mind helping people with their personal issues if they have questions about life or whatever, and God ties in with it somehow. I mean, there's definitely some truth there, but to just make a whole channel centered on God and religion, that's kind of ridiculous to me. It's not what he wanted for us. Just be a living example. That's the best thing you can do. We already have enough people relentlessly rambling about spirituality, religion, and God. Raw meat backwards is team war. I like that. Can you do a handstand? I don't know, man. I think I've tried it. It's kind of hard. Just for like a second, I can't really like balance it. Drop your panties. I think a lot of carnivores are reverting to Christianity because like eating raw meat, Christianity is a simple answer for them. Also, veganism and cultism go together with demonicism. Yeah, there's definitely a connection between cleaning your body out and getting closer to God. That's undeniable. So just because someone's converting to Christianity doesn't mean that they're just a brainwashed shill. You know what I mean? Like, they could be legitimately having a spiritual awakening, but they don't know where to turn or who to turn to because no one has taught them the truth, and that the truth is inside you. It's not in a Bible, and it's not found in a church, and it's not found from some guy dressed as a wizard. The truth is all inside you. And so I think a lot of people are looking for answers, yes. And Christianity is the most easily accessible because there's a brick and mortar building on every freaking corner. There's a million YouTube channels. You can just click it on. It's like a constant stream being pumped through you. You gotta see that as the red flag. Anything in this world that is being constantly pumped straight into your brain as a mainstream is always the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's always the wrong thing. You have to dig to find the truth. And I've done a lot of digging into this spirituality stuff, guys. I've done a lot of things that a lot of people probably aren't willing to do. And it's really showed me the truth. So I've dug into this stuff, and the further you dig in, the more simple life gets, man. Bam says religion is raised while true spiritualism is buried away and hidden from us. Yes. Thin Chips says the banging noise is way too loud. Is that my mouse doing that? Is it this thing? Is that what it is? Let me know if that's what it is. I'll stop doing it. To get the membrane out by sucking, you need to make the hole the right size. You mean like eating the membrane? Chicken Jar says, I'm 10% Muslim, 10% Christian, 10% Hindu, 10% Buddhist, 10% native religion, 10% pagan, the rest is spiritual. There you go. It's a nice little mix. You guys got to read this book, man. The Gospel of the Red Man, the Indian Bible, it's profound. I got more out of that book than I have in over 30 years of Christianity, man. It's amazing. Those guys knew what they were talking about, man. They knew what they were doing. They knew what was up. Where did you get the wood plate? I got it from Amazon. It is Akai. Is that the right wood? Akai, A-C-A-I. Gregory says, I don't feel a religious connection to anything. Kai says, I didn't get YouTube notification for this live stream. Screw YouTube. Kai, if you want, get on my email list. My email up here. I'll email you for every live stream. There's now an overstock of face masks and bandanas, no doubt. Would you ever eat vegetables and fruits from your own garden? Oh yeah, I got some watermelon, and I got some cucumbers, and what the hell else did I plant? I can't remember, man. I got a bunch of stuff growing though. The weed delivery business is booming. Yeah, totally. Everybody's stuck at home smoking weed. How much water do your dogs drink? Between the two of them, they drink about just a regular dog bowl of water, probably in like a week. But they drink a lot of like rainwater and stuff too outside. Ether says, I'm sure if my pup had a yard, she'd do that. In all cartoons, the dog buried a bone to rot. For sure. Yeah, that's definitely what they were doing. They were trying to rot. They were trying to make high meat. Bam, does anyone here bathe in bath with salt? Yeah, I use Epsom salts every once in a while. I kind of ran out of it, but I got to get some more. But yeah, Epsom salt baths feel really good, man. I should order some more of that. Lamb is 3 times the price of beef here. It is here too. Later, Aajonus Prime. Chicken Jar says, anyone who says they got a special connection with God is being narcissistic because God's the same to all of us. That's true, man. That's true. Yeah, that's right. It shouldn't be like a special connection. But some people serve Satan, so it's not like God is... It's not like everyone's serving God, though, you know? At least you're not talking about how we need to repay our debt to nature, no doubt. How healthy are Indian cattle? I'm not sure. What can I do with rotten milk? I have 3 bottles in the fridge spoiled by our keeper. I usually feed that stuff to my dogs. Sometimes I don't like it when it turns into like kefir though. It's a little too sharp for them. So I'm not sure. I mean, I would probably just throw it out, to be honest with you, unless you really want to try to make like cheese or something. What's up, Wes? I just started this journey. Let me tell you, I've lost weight. My mind is cleared completely. Good for you, man. I no longer have bipolar. That's awesome. Dude, I had that same thing. I feel like I had the same thing go away with me, man. By quitting eating bread, I felt like I was like ceasing to be bipolar. No hallucinations of paranoia. Good for you, man. Two raw burgers and eggs. Hell yeah. West Tabor is waking up. It's good to see you, man. You're looking at 42 other people that have also woke up, man. The way our ancestors lived before Christianity was much like the red man. Oh yeah, exactly. For sure. Kai, are you still making those homemade primal pickles? Yeah, I made a bunch last month. I got like 1 jar left, and I'm going to probably make some more. Which version of the Gospel of the Red Man did you get? I'm not sure. I just ordered the one off of Amazon. I'm not sure what version that is. It was real tiny though. I mean, it's a tiny book, guys. It's not like a big read. It's just a little book, but it's so good I'm about to read it again. Any advice for cooked meat carnivore? I don't know. I mean, consider going raw just because it's a lot better for you. But you do what you want to do. And consider eating some fruit, maybe some honey, some berries and stuff. It's good for you. Yeah, dogs are making high meat. Yeah, I don't know about ozone. Bam says, I read some areas where people report better thinking when they lost a lot of weight. Fat loss does more than we ever thought. It's incredible. Yep. I found Gospel of the Red Man for $5 on eBay. There you go. That's the one. It's an old book, man, and it's considered one of the best books ever written on Native Americans. Sorry guys, I'm just doing some adjustments here again. This font is just a little bit big. There we go, much better. I might do a little experiment here. Let's see if I can get this going. This might be kind of fun. Bear with me here, guys. Bear with me. I'm going to try something new. Okay, media source. I'm gonna try to play a video, just like a quick little Aajonus video, like while on the screen. Let's see here. Where's it at? There we go.
Take a look inside this refrigerator. Meet the nutritionist who believes mold and bacteria are part of a balanced diet.
You guys hear the sound?
Decide for yourself when this human vulture invites his friends to feast on rotten meat.
The bacteria that grows on spoiled food looks something like this. Not very appetizing, huh? Well, Ripley's dined with a man who believes that a healthy diet consists of eating rotten meat. Wait till you see what's inside this guy's refrigerator.
What would you do if you went to the fridge for a snack and saw this? If you're Aajonus Vonderplanets, you grab a fork and dig right in. Believe it or not,
actually not.
he's been eating the foulest
this
food he
stuff
can
so
find for the
easily.
last 3 decades. In fact, the meat he eats every day is intentionally rotted for over a year. As a child, Aajonus was constantly getting sick, and he fought through years of frustrating illness.
By the time I was probably 6, 7 years old, I developed colds and flus that would last from 3 to 5 months.
Then, in the late 60s, Aajonus was diagnosed with deadly lymphoma cancer. He immediately began a series of radiation treatments to halt the deadly disease. But the cancer kept on spreading.
You guys
Fearing the end was
can't
near,
hear me? Can you hear me now?
Aajonus set out to travel the world. While in Alaska,
Loud?
members of a local Inuit tribe took him in. According to their custom, they encouraged the dying man to eat a remedy of raw, rotten meat.
It stunk like dead animal, and I mean, it was horrendous. I couldn't get within 5 feet without wanting to vomit. I thought I was having a near-death experience, so I went and lied down at my campsite and woke the next day and I wasn't dead and I felt better.
Feeling like a new man, Aajonus decided to explore in depth the world of putrid meats and organs. He discovered there's actually a science to this diet of decomposition.
Well, bacteria, virus, and parasites feed on degenerative tissue. So it helps you get rid of the poisons that are in the body. It's like the vultures and crows. They feed on degenerative animals. They don't go around attacking healthy animals.
This is one of
Now,
the best
preparing food is a
clips
simple
that
process.
Aajonus ever did,
He
man.
chops a variety of animal parts into cubes. These he places in jars with plenty of airspace. Then, Aajonus lets nature take its course.
You have to open it every 3 to 4 days to put more oxygen in it to keep the bacteria moving.
The meat's not ready until mold and bacteria have done their dirty work for at least a month. But a warning, eating any spoiled food can be extremely dangerous, even deadly. Don't try this at home. In fact, it's a putrefaction process so hazardous that food safety specialist Jeff Davidson simply cannot support it.
I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be concerned with things like an E. coli, a salmonella, even botulism. Maybe you're going to vomit. You may have some days of diarrhea.
All right, this is a buffalo heart chopped up.
Oh, whoa.
Some of Aajonus's favorite meats decay in their own juices for over a year.
This is cod livers. This is about a year and 3 months old.
Though doctors warn that consuming spoiled food could lead to illness or even death, Aajonus claims his afflictions have miraculously disappeared. A situation he attributes to consuming spoiled cuisine. As strange as it may sound, with each bite of rotten flesh, Aajonus says he only gets stronger. This rotten meat eater
the way they
has
edit
even
this, they
written
make
a
him look
how-to
like a
book
total,
about his unique
like,
diet.
Jeffrey
And not
Dahmer.
only that, he's a certified nutritionist actually counseling patients to improve their health. But even with all the positive benefits he attributes to eating rotten flesh, Aajonus does have one important piece of advice.
You don't want to do it in your house because it'll stink your house up.
Believe it.
Okay, thank you. All right, bye. That was my dentist calling me, asking me about giving me the COVID-19 screening. Do you have COVID-19, sir? Yeah, that's cool. So now I can do videos on the screen. Now I can get some good ideas. I know, I wish... Yeah, Gregory DeFranco is like something educational on TV. Wow. I know, isn't that amazing? Like, wouldn't it be nice if, like, you could just watch TV and it was all about, like, high meat and raw meat and native tribes and eating and just hunting, and wouldn't that be sweet? Richard's blast says, LOL, that fat guy telling him it's unhealthy. That's exactly what Aajonus was thinking too. Good Maki says, E. coli, salmonella, botulism, and other fancy words I know how to say but nothing know what they are. Oh yeah, people love saying botulism. My buddy Sean, I was trying to get him to give his kid like raw milk and raw honey and stuff, you know, to grow strong. And he's just like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to give my kid botulism. I was like, what? You think honey has botulism? No, the COVID screen they gave me is just, they just asked me, you know, do you have a sore throat, blah, 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 all this stupid shit. All that stupid stuff, man. Then they make me wash my hands when I go in there. They put on a hand sanitizer. I'm just going to fake it tomorrow. I'm just going to go in there and squirt like a little drop on there. Acknowledge says, wish Aajonus was still around, man. Then he could debate Sean Baker, Dr. Berg, Frank, and all these lost souls. Knock some sense into them. Yeah, I mean, I think debates are kind of gay, though, to be honest. Because it doesn't really... You can't really convince someone that's not ready to wake up to the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you could have debated me 2 years ago about cooked food, and I would have been like, what are you talking about? You know? But it took me a certain amount of research and waking up to see, like, the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I think debates are just kind of all ego. They're all just basically, like, intellectual posturing. Doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. But he could do a great job of leading by example and creating new videos and new research and stuff like that, you know. The problem is Aajonus is he's very dialectic when it comes to his arguments. And a lot of people need rhetoric in order to convince them of something. So they need some sort of emotional persuasion. And Aajonus is kind of like me, to where he's not a very rhetorical guy. He doesn't like speak in rhetoric. He speaks in just logic and dialectic, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that type of speaking. You know what I mean? They need some sort of rhetoric. They need some like powerful emotional statements, blah blah blah. Like, you know, like the most rhetorical thing that I do would be like make that video, like throw away your television. That like music video I made. That's the only way I know how to express myself rhetorically, is like through like music and images and stuff like that. I'm not very good at expressing myself rhetorically with words, you know? Like Owen Benjamin's a good example of someone that can express himself rhetorically, through humor and stuff like that. He can get ideas across by making you laugh and making you think about things. I'm not really very good at that per se. I'm more of just a logical thinker, you know? And so, like, you could just set up a debate between Aajonus and Sean Baker or Frank DeFano or whatever, and it just, his logic wouldn't get through to them. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Colin Morris is the 2 flakes of salt advice daily. I'm guessing, yeah. Thin chips, what meats do you eat raw? What types can you eat raw? You can eat anything raw. I usually eat like chuck roast And if I buy like a quarter cow, I eat all the different cuts. So I'll eat chuck roast and ribs and ribeyes and liver and organs, and I eat everything nose to tail. Yeah, Orbit 23. I don't know about the high meat thing, like, because they say you're supposed to air it every few days, but I did see that video too where Severia said he didn't open it for months. I wouldn't do that. I would just open it every 3 days just to be safe, because that's where I've had the most success doing high meat. So I can't recommend the not opening the jar thing because I've never tried it. But there is some evidence that you could possibly get away with that. Good Maki said that's why Aajonus wrote the first volume of his book telling a story of his son for the people who need to see a story to be convinced. That's a very good point. Yeah, that was basically Aajonus's masterpiece of rhetoric right there. It very much was, yeah. And yeah, you're right. You know, when he gets into his lectures, the first part of his workshops, he talks about his life story. So that's his rhetorical arguments. Is like, you know, I suffered my whole life, blah blah blah, and I guess I get into that a little bit too with my life. But you know, I've definitely suffered myself, not as much as Aajonus, but I've suffered in my own personal ways. Gregory says, "We Want to Live" story was better than any book I've read. It's pretty good, man. Gospel of the Red Man's pretty good too. It's right up there with We Want to Live as far as like how it changed my life. Mad Ming says how to do the high meat for the first time. I would start with like liver, grass-fed liver, chop it up into little 1 inch by 1 inch pieces, fill up a jar halfway, put the lid on, air it out every 3 days, check it in about 2 months. Good Maki says if you don't air out your high meat, it just slows down or stops the fermentation. It doesn't go bad. Interesting. So what's the theory then, Good Maki? What's the theory on anaerobic bacteria? I thought if you deprived meat of air, it turned anaerobic. Candida, any thoughts? A lot of people ask about Candida. It's just a natural detoxification. Get on this diet, and so you'll balance your system out, and your body will just resolve it. It's really that simple, man. You don't have to really get too deep into it. What's the average price for a quarter cow? I saw some for $2 a pound. It's non-vaccinated beef illegal. Possibly. I'm not sure on that, the laws on that. But I get 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and a quarter cow. This is including all of the processing fees and everything. I end up paying about $7.50 a pound, and that's for some of the best beef you can buy in the world. It's the most yellow fat you've ever seen. It's all packaged up, and you're taking it home for $7.50 a pound. The guy sells it to me for about like $4.50 a pound, and the extra $3 a pound is the like processing and stuff like that. I've been making some, but I had to go weeks without opening. Is it bad high meat now or poisonous? Good question. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I would air it out a bunch and then give it a smell, and you'll be able to tell probably. Just ordered the Gospel of the Red Man. Thanks, 480. Oh, you're going to love that book, man. That's like one of the most profound books I've ever read. Do you believe Aajonus' life story as he told it, or was he partly truth, partly fabrication? Yes, I believe it. I believe his life story because I have personally known people that have had very traumatic lives, and you would not believe some of the shit that some people go through in their life. I've known a lot of people that live like that. So Aajonus' story was like really nothing to me because I know people like that, and but on top of it, I use my God-given intuitions of being able to detect when someone is being deceptive or lying to me. And there's no point in Aajonus' lectures or workshops or stories or books where if you basically just look at his workshops and lectures, if you look at his physical body language and the way that he's speaking, there's at no point where he comes off deceptive or lying. So the guy's not lying at all, for sure. I wouldn't I wouldn't be confident in saying that unless I knew it for sure. I'll leave the lid closed. You could leave it open if you want, possibly, but it kind of stinks your place up. I like to leave it closed. I think it helps it ferment better. I don't know, because sometimes when I make kefir, cracking the lid makes it ferment better. So just experiment with it. It's a good question. Aajonus has some recommendations for candida. For example, more white meats. Yeah, just read We Want to Live. Look up candida. If you need the PDF, just email me. Where do you get your beef? Anyone know good beef near Rochester, New York? Go to eatwild.com and look your state up. What's the point of high meat? It gives you higher levels of vitamins like K2 on liver, and then it also gives you a high bacterial load, so it inoculates your stomach with beneficial bacteria. And it pre-digests the food for you, so you get an instant vitamin blast, because your body doesn't have to use any of its resources to digest it because it's already fermented. Good Maki says many people have left high meat in jars for sometimes years and still eat it without problem. That's interesting, man. I have not made Aajonus's sauces. Sagita says hello from Lithuania and Latvia. Hello. Not airing it just slows the process. Interesting. Huh. So it may turn anaerobic, but it's not exactly poisonous, huh? Eye floaters. Yeah, I got eye floaters. Eat more eyeballs. I think it's making my floaters get better. Yeah, try to eat more eyeballs. Do you watch CNN? Never. I don't watch any TV. I just basically watch, I watch Gavin McInnes on freespeech.tv, or it's called censor.tv now. And then I also just watch like YouTube. I watch a little bit of BitChute and a little bit of Owen Benjamin and London Real. That's another cool website. Orbit says, so am I understanding correctly then it can't hurt you no matter what? That's what I'm being told. I've never done this myself. I've always aired my meat out. But that's what I'm being told, is that you can not air the meat out, it just doesn't ferment it. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've heard conflicting things about that. I would suggest just airing it out, just to be safe. What's up, Styes Soulmaker? Jeff says there's a scene in James Bond movie where the villain eats goat eyeballs right out of the skull. Truth in plain sight disguised as something only evil people do. Interesting. Yeah, totally. Exactly. I'm sure when I move out of this place too, they're going to find a bunch of goat skulls in my garden and be like, who is this Satan worshiper? When it couldn't be more the opposite. I'm just like a healthy guy that loves God. Doggy Style, did you know that a lot of people are accusing London Real of taking advantage of the virus to get money for his website? Interesting. Yeah, he's kind of probably capitalizing on it right now, but you know, who cares though? He had David Icke on, you know what I mean? And David Icke just got recently banned from YouTube, so I think he's doing a good service by having David Icke on. You think London Real is a scammer? How's he a scammer? I think his interviews are pretty cool. But I just recently started getting into it, so I don't know. I haven't dug too deep into the guy, but what's the scam? What's up, Anna? Someone asked me where I buy lamb brains, so I got them in Dublin. Oh, okay. Someone asked you where you got lamb brains, you got them in Dublin. That's interesting. Yeah, you guys just gotta look around, man, you know? I've been researching my area for almost 2 years now for food, and I'm still finding stuff all over the place. It's all around you. You just gotta kind of open your eyes and look into it. You think David Icke is deep state? I don't know, man. He seems like he's really onto the truth. That guy seems like someone that's done like some deep psychedelic dives, and he understands like how fear is the real virus and stuff like that. He's really onto the truth, man. Anyone know about best resource website or book about high meat, reliable information to research the science? Interesting. Remember in the 70s when David Icke was calling himself Jesus? I was never around back then, so I just honestly have recently been getting into Icke, so I didn't really know his pastor's background, but I will say that his interviews and stuff, they ring true to me. Like, his truth really does ring true to me. The London Real guy also promoted veganism. Interesting. Everybody's not perfect, I guess, but we dissected a cow eye in school, looked like flat earth. Interesting. Why David Icke doesn't take care of his own body, it just seems weird. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's definitely got a big gut. That was the first thing I noticed, for sure. He's from a different generation, you know what I mean? He's not from our generation, so wait till the David Icke of our generation comes out. Brandon Esteban, the London Real scam is that Buttar and Judy and Icke are saying that COVID is fake, but SARS, Zika, and the Louis Pasteur theory is fact. Oh. I don't remember hearing them say that SARS and Zika and pasteurization is fact, but yeah, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. And I don't think that's really a scam, but it's just that it seems like some people aren't really woke up to like the entire truth, the whole truth, you know what I mean? And nothing but the truth. Whereas everybody thinks they are. Every truther thinks they're woke up to the whole truth, you know what I mean? Including me. It's like, but I'm open to the idea that there's some things that I'm not aware of yet, you know? That there's some truths I'm not aware of yet. But for the most part, I think I'm covering a lot of the bases here. I mean, I'm over here eating raw cow, goat brains and eyeballs. You know, I'm talking about how religion and education system and the government is all a construct and a scam. Basically, you know, money's a scam. Like, I think everything's a scam. So you can't really, it's hard to debunk me. Because I literally believe everything is a frickin' scam, besides like raw meat and giving thanks to God. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm a very simple guy. Ike still promotes germ theory. That's true. Yeah, I know what you mean. A lot of people are not woke up to germ theory, dude. Especially people from Ike's generation. Those guys are so hardwired to be so scared of germs and shit, man. I know what you mean. His message would be so much more powerful if he integrated Aajonus's like theories on virus and stuff into it. That would make much more sense. So I see what you guys are saying. I acknowledge that. Well, I'm about 2 years. I'm about 2 hours in, guys, so I probably got to cut this stream off. But this has been great. It's been good times. Appreciate everybody coming. I don't think I'm going to end every stream like this, but I think I'm going to end it this time just because I have my new video, so. We'll see you guys next time. God bless. Keep eating raw meat. Take it easy.